The scary part isn't Kawhi coming back to Toronto. It's that Toronto may finally be ready for him again. After years of rebuilding, the Raptors are back in the playoffs. And now, they may have a chance to recreate the magic of 2019. With the Raptors and Clippers officially completing the trade, Kawhi is headed back to Toronto. And with the Clippers officially entering a rebuild, they will now build a brand new young roster around Brandon Ingram and this year's number 5 overall pick, Keaton Wagler. The reason Kawhi agreed to return to the Raptors, beyond the memories of the 2019 title run, came down to one very important factor. Toronto's front office also gave him a clear commitment to an extension. They promised Kawhi a 2-year, $126 million extension, including the just over $50 million remaining on his current contract. His total salary over the next 3 years in Toronto will reach roughly $176 million. 7 years ago, he left this place with a championship. 7 years later, his name is once again connected to the Raptors. Kawhi only spent 1 season here, but almost every one of the most important moments in Raptors history is tied to him. In the 2019 Eastern Conference semifinals, with 4.2 seconds left in Game 7, Kawhi caught the ball in the corner and released the shot with Joel Embiid contesting. In front of 20,000 fans watching breathlessly, the ball bounced 4 times before finally falling through the net. From that moment on, Toronto had its first true playoff miracle. Then came the Eastern Conference Finals, where they eliminated Giannis and the Bucks. Then came the NBA Finals, where they defeated the defending champion Warriors. And with that, the Raptors won the first championship in franchise history. But before that season even began, the Raptors had made the riskiest decision in franchise history. They traded away franchise star DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan was the most familiar face in Toronto. He grew with this franchise. He became an all-star here. He gave the best years of his career to this city. But only the front office knew that if the team wanted to keep moving forward, they had to move him for a player carrying injury concerns and unwilling to make a long-term promise to any team. Nobody knew whether Kawhi would stay here long-term. Nobody knew whether this trade would end as a bold gamble or a failed dream. 1 year later, the answer was written across the streets of Toronto. After the championship parade ended, fans all did the same thing in hopes of keeping Kawhi. More than 1,000 businesses put the same sticker in their windows. It had Kawhi's face on it and said, "Kawhi eats here for free." Toronto was loud during those days. The weather was hot, but everyone was waiting for the same answer. When that answer finally came, Kawhi went to Los Angeles. There was no long goodbye, not much explanation either. He went back to California, back to the place where he was born. During his 7 years with the Clippers, Paul George came, James Harden came. The Clippers even reached the Western Conference Finals. But more often, what people saw were Kawhi's injuries and late scratches before games. Last season, Kawhi put up the best offensive numbers of his career, averaging nearly 28 points per game. But the Clippers failed to make the playoffs. After the season ended, team president Lawrence Frank told reporters, "Our plan is to win with Kawhi." But when the offseason arrived, the Clippers were not willing to meet him on an extension. The news quickly spread around the league. Several teams also expressed interest in Kawhi. The Raptors ultimately completed the trade by sending Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick, along with 2 unprotected first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. But what truly made this deal different was Kawhi's own choice. He told every team pursuing him around the league that he only wanted Toronto. He wanted to finish his career as a Raptor. Next season, when Kawhi walks into Toronto's arena again, he will see many familiar things. The same players' tunnel he once walked through on the way to a championship, and the 2019 championship banner still hanging above the arena. 7 years ago, Kawhi left behind the loudest summer Toronto had ever seen. 7 years later, when Kawhi returns, that championship banner will still be there. This time, Toronto did not chase after Kawhi and beg him to stay. Kawhi chose to come back on his own. Across the entire league, for a 35-year-old veteran wing who has dealt with years of injuries to still receive this kind of treatment, Kawhi truly is one of the ultimate business winners in modern sports. Since entering the league in 2011, Kawhi has played for the Spurs, Raptors, and Clippers. Not including this reported extension plan from the Raptors, the total value of the deals he has signed has already reached more than $500 million. After falling out with his former team, the Spurs, in the summer of 2018, Kawhi understood one thing. In this business of basketball, championships and sentiment are never as practical as securing the next contract. So after leaving San Antonio, Kawhi made maximizing his next deal his biggest pursuit. After leading the Raptors to the championship in 2019, he still left, despite an entire city begging him to stay. He joined the Clippers. Although he never led the team to a championship during his 7 years in Los Angeles, his Clippers deals eventually added up to roughly $428 million. As a businessman in a basketball jersey, Kawhi truly taught Steve Ballmer and the Clippers a brutal lesson. Now, with the Raptors' promised 2-year, $126 million extension added in, Kawhi's total guaranteed career salary will surpass $600 million once all of his contracts are completed. Compared with other stars of his generation, Kawhi really can be considered one of the biggest winners. 2 championships, 2 finals MVP trophies, and more than $600 million in career salary. From a business perspective, leaving the Spurs may truly have been one of the best decisions of Kawhi's career. What is even crazier is that after returning to Toronto, Kawhi seems to be getting closer and closer to the 3rd championship trophy of his career. 7 years ago, Kawhi came to Toronto alone and helped bring down the Warriors dynasty, bringing this city its first championship in franchise history. Fans in the North have never forgotten what he did. Now, with his return, Kawhi once again fills the Raptors' biggest weakness. Today's Raptors have talented young players like Scottie Barnes, Barrett, and Immanuel Quickley. Their regular season record has already improved significantly, but in the most important moments of the playoffs, they still lacked a reliable late-game closer. Kawhi's return now perfectly fills that weakness. From a roster depth perspective, after replacing Ingram with Kawhi, this Raptors team has already become one of the most dangerous teams in the East. In an era when many teams desperately need quality wing players, the Raptors have stockpiled a large number of them. After Kawhi's arrival, their wing group is already one of the deepest in the league. Looking at both ends of the floor, there may not be many teams in the entire league that can match up with Toronto's wing group. The only weakness is the lack of consistent shooters. If the Raptors can still add 1 or 2 elite marksmen, then they really do have a chance to recreate the magic of 2019.